Thank you for attending the student benefits from accredited institutions. And let's start our webinar today. In today's webinar, we'll be covering a lot of questions, a lot of topics that we need all to know more about it. Let's get to a brief introduction. For today's webinar, by the end of this session, the participants will be able to understand how the accreditation will enhance the teaching, the curriculum, the governance of the student services. That will be recognized how the accredited organizations uh, safeguard the rights for the interests. Also, they will be able to identify of the accreditation and career opportunities, mobility, and global recognition. Also, to appreciate the long-term value of choosing the accrediting programs. So let's go to the first part. By the end of this session, you will decode how accreditation drives tangible improvement in teaching, curriculum, and student support. That will be articulating how the accreditation safeguards your rights and ensures a fair, transparent learning environment. Also, it will be identifying the direct benefit of accredited qualifications for career advancement, global mobility, and lifelong recognition. And you can then evaluate the long-term return on investment that comes from choosing accredited program. So that's what your students will find after having an accredited organization certificate. So for the training educational providers, we do the accreditation of training educational provider. That means that your program are formally recognized, the curriculums are relevant to the body of knowledge and depth up to date in the line with the changes in the learning topics. Also, the instructors, tutors are appropriately qualified and skilled in teaching, and they have the knowledge and experience to do that. Also, that means the institution had the capability to offer the training programs you are going to provide. So for you as an education provider, the accreditation time frame will be from 3 to 8 weeks only, and that is depending on the corrective actions required. And the accreditation validity will be for 3 years. Your organization will be accredited. So what type of accreditation? Here the question comes. Hence, you are here like a training center, university, or an academy, a school and college, a training department in an institution. All of that can apply for the accreditation, and that means that the curriculums are relevant to the body of knowledge and up to date, and that means you have the good quality of your training programs. Let's get here to the point of today's why the students should apply to take some trainings with accredited organizations. Because the engine of excellence, this is how accreditation improves teaching and curriculum. By here we say that beyond the compliance of culture, the accreditation that will be establishing a culture of excellence, where that is meeting the standards and the baseline for continuous innovation. Also, the faculty excellence. The accreditation here mandates more than a degree. So it requires ongoing folly development and faculty development, pedagogical training, and evidence of teaching effectiveness. So this often through the peer reviews and student learning analytics. Also, the dynamic curriculum design, like the curriculums aren't static, but they are living framework that must be. The first thing, it should be like industry focused. So developing that with input from the sector advisors to ensure skills alignment. That should be outcome driven, like building the backward from clear and measurable learning outcomes. Also, it has to be future focused. That means regularly refreshed and incorporate emerging trends, technologies, and global perspectives. The last thing is that the evidence loop, like the institutions must continuously collect, act, and data from the graduates' success to the employer feedback. So that means they will be providing the educational impact on them. And a conclusion for this first part here, or the first point, the accreditation is the engine that powers a relevant, rigorous, and responsive education that is ensuring what you learn today applies to all the challenges and changes of tomorrow. The second point here, we can go for the framework of fairness. That means that you'll be ensuring the transparency and assessment support. Your rights defined and defended. So you as a student or your students will have the rights defined and defended because the accreditation builds a structured, accountable environment where students are informed partners in their education. So that means they will be receiving these good quality in their education lifetime and their accredited organization standards. So that means equitable assessment, transparent governance, also holistic support ecosystem. So when it comes to equitable assessment, that means the standardized policies that ensuring grades reflect true and masterly, not inconsistency, the clear rubric building grades, the robust exam protocols and mandated. Also, the transparency governance, that means you're right to appeal grades, to access policies, and to understand the degree requirements. Also, all of those and all of these documents are protected by the accreditation audits and systems. The holistic support for ecosystem, that it's not just about academic support. Accreditation benchmarks require quality mental health services, career consulting, disability resources, and the learning assistance, all essentials for the student success. So here's the conclusion for the part two. With the accreditation provides the rule book and the referee in creating a learning environment built for fairness, clarity, and comprehensive support. The third point we do have here is the trust signal. The trust signal is why employers and the world recognize accredited credentials. So for you as an employer, if you are having a new employee that is coming to join your organization, you have to check where is his degree accredited from. So just put yourself in your student's shoe. The employers and the world will be recognizing the accredited credentials and accredited organization. So the currency of credibility in a crowded job market, accreditation is the verified seal that gives the degree an immediate value. So all of your students will get this immediate value by getting your degree because you are already an accredited organization by AAA, the American Accreditation Association. So how could this happen? That happens because of the risk mitigation for employers. Hiring a manager use accreditation as an efficient filter for quality assurance, and it signaled that the graduate possesses and vetted standardized skill set. So for you as a manager, once you are checking the CVs and seeing the resumes that you have already received from the job advertisement, you as a hiring manager will use an accredited organization to be an accredited certificate from a well-known organization such as AAA as a filtration process. You can filter the skills of people by their accreditation. Also, that's a gateway to licensure and advancement. From like engineering and nursing to business and law, professional licensing boards overwhelmingly require a degree from accredited programs and prerequisites. Also, the global common language for multinational corporations and international organizations, the accreditation is a universal shorthand for the educational integrity. So my conclusion here, an accredited degree is more than a certificate, it's a passport to professional trust. So opening the door to interviews, licensure, and career advancement. Me as a student, I'll be thinking, what is the ROI to go to a well-known organization that is providing training and education? The student ROI is the answer, the return on investment. That will be unlocking mobility, opportunity, and recognition. So maximizing your educational investment, that means the benefit of the accreditation will be translated directly into tangible opportunities to the students. So you as a student will be receiving a tangible opportunity because of your accredited certificate. And that means that you'll be having a career capital, a seamless mobility, and access to privileges. The career capital, that means you'll be having an accredited degree, often command higher starting salaries. Is that the only thing? No. You will be prioritized in recruitment pipelines. So you'll be the top picked uh, uh, participant in the pipeline of the recruitment. And it's also a seamless mobility, whether transferring credits to or pursuing a master's abroad, accredited qualifications are the key to unlock academic portability. You'll be also having an access to privileges, the eligibility for federal and financial aids, the prestigious scholarships, and the international exchange program frequently hangs on the institutional accreditation. What is the conclusion here? The accreditation amplifies your options. It's providing greater ROI, flexibility, and reach throughout your educational and professional journey. Point number 5 here is the student shield, the protection from low quality and predatory programs. A critical due diligence tool means the accreditation serves as protective barrier, helping students avoid costly and career damaging mistakes. So students will not think about any other opportunities. They will only think about who is accredited and where is the accredited organizations, so I can take the shortcut and avoid the costly career damaging mistakes by taking many courses and trainings or even diplomas from untrusted sources. So the validator of legitimacy, that means it distinguishes the credibility institutions from diploma or weak program that is offered no real standing. The guardian of standards, that means the accredited institutions are accountable for their financial practices, advertising claims, and student contracts, and reducing the risk for malpractice. Also, the high cost of non-accreditation, that means you will briefly touch on real scenarios, like where non-accredited degrees led to rejection job applications, a denied credit transfer, and invalidated professional applications. So that means you'll be lost. That means the student will be needing to see you as a training provider or an educational provider. They need to see that you are accredited to trust you. So the conclusion here is that choosing an accredited institution is the most effective step as a student can take to safeguard their investment, time, and future prospects. Number 6 here is the promise of progress, the commitment to continuous improvement. Once your organization is already accredited, that means you are committed to continuous improvement. The excellence and the journey, not a destination. The accreditation is not a one-time award, but it's a cycle of perpetual enhancement. So the improvement and preventive, that's a re-accreditation process, forces the institution to conduct deep self-studies, address weaknesses, and innovate proactively. The student voice as a catalyst, that means your feedback via surveys, committees, is systematically integrated into strategic planning and quality upgrades. The future proofing education, that means this cycle ensures facilities, technologies, and curricula evolve to meet the demands of the digital economy and global challenges. So, what is the conclusion here? When you choose an accredited institution, you enroll in a dynamic community committed to evolving and improving long after you graduate. So that means a continuous improvement of your certificate, a continuous improvement of yourself, a continuous improvement of your accredited organization. By that, what are the conclusion and takeaways from this session here before we go to the last part? The strategic choices. Today, we all have seen that the accreditation is the cornerstone of the educational value. because it's a quality engine for teaching and curriculum. It's a framework of fairness for students' rights and support, a universal trust signals to employers and the world, a student shield against risk, and it's a promise of continuous progress. More and more of the accredited organizations are now applying to have this accreditation opportunity with AAA. And the final thought here is in a world of endless choices, accreditation is the most reliable guide for the students that will be ensuring that the education they are receiving is not just an experience, but it's a strategic asset, one that delivers quality, protection, and recognition for a lifetime increasement and lifetime enhancement for their life careers and their lives. But before we end this, we have to ask ourselves a process. How is the process of getting accredited for me as an organization will go? The first thing, you will be applying through an application form. The second thing, you will be reviewing your documents and all of the curriculums you are providing. Then we will be doing the assessment. They will give you a feedback. Then the decision should be made by the committee of AAA to accredit the organization. Once the committee approves your accreditation, you will be receiving an accreditation certificate right here. This is like granting a certification or accreditation certificate valid for 3 years. You'll be receiving something like that. This is the accreditation certificate for your organization. But here we need to ask ourselves a final question. You as a training center, you as an educational provider, you as a university, and you as a college or a school, why investing in accreditation? For providers, the credibility, that's a seal of trust for learners and employers. So you are protecting yourself by the credibility and taking an advantage and standing out from the crowd in the market. That will be a competitive edge because you'll be standing out in crowd markets. The process improvement that will be identifying the gaps and optimize the operations to provide these trainings. Also for learners, they will have a confidence in skills validity. They have been taught something from your education institution, so that they need a validity and confidence in this skill set to go and find the jobs and careers in the market. So by getting an accreditation, you will giving them the confidence in skills validity, also a higher employment outcomes and higher employment rates. Also, you can give your students a chance to have the American Directory of Competent Personnel once you give them a certificate, and you can launch a certificate from our website, and the students will be enrolled on our website because they already took an accreditation and they already took a training from an accredited organization. And also they can find a digital certificate by AAA mentioning that the person has successfully been evaluated and has demonstrated a high level of competence and education and professional experience achieved in the examination pass scores. What are the frequently asked questions here? The first question, how much does it cost? We can say like the ROI analysis, the higher fees enrollment office cost, depending on the number of programs and disciplines you are providing as a training center. Also, the range here, we can say it's from 2 to 10,000 US dollars for the 3 years accreditation. So here will become another question. We are too small. Can we be accredited? Yes, for sure. It's a scalable standard for all sizes of business that they can apply for accreditation. If you need to go to that, just go to this website, AAA-accreditation.org, go to the Training Educational Provider Accreditation and submit your form right there and apply through this website. Or you can just send us your email right here in the chat, and someone from our team can send you the application form to take your first steps and evaluate your training centers.
If you have any other inquiry, you can email us at our email at AAA. So thank you for attendance. Thank you for participation. Thank you, James, for your time. And we wish you a blessed Friday.